Very good morning to all the students of class 4. My name is Prerna and I'm your English teacher. And today, from your English book Skyline, we are going to read chapter number 11. So, let us start reading this chapter. And what is the name of the chapter? The name of the chapter is Flying Slippers. Now, this chapter is a play. So, let us find out that who all are the characters in this particular play called Flying Slippers. So, there is an old cobbler and his name is Tanka. Then the first man is a rich merchant. Second man is a king and Amna is a small girl. So there are 4 main characters in the play. So let us start reading this play. Scene 1. A cobbler's shack. Old shoes are lying around. Tanka, the cobbler, has grey hair and a grey beard. He is mending a shoe. Tuck, tuck goes his hammer as he drives a nail into the shoe. So in the introduction, what they've done is they've described how the cobbler's shack or the hut, how did it look like, that there were shoes lying all around, and Tanka was an old cobbler who had grey hair and grey beard also, and he is trying to fix a shoe by putting a nail into it. So Tanka, he's talking to himself. This shoe will not last long, not even if I drive 50 nails into it, but I will try. There are footsteps outside, and a man burst into the room. Burst into means to suddenly enter someone's room without even seeking permission, to suddenly just enter someone's room. So this man, who's a rich merchant, says, "Are you Tanka, the cobbler?" Tanka says, "Indeed, I am. Would you like me to mend your shoes?" So Tanka is asking this rich merchant, "Would you like me to repair your shoes?" So the man says, "Forget about mending. I have been told you make slippers that can fly." Tanka, "Who told you that?" Man, "Oh, never mind." He steps forward closer to Tanka. "Look, I want a pair of flying slippers. Make them for me and you will be a rich man." He jingles a bag of gold. So this rich merchant is holding a bag of gold coins. You can see a bag of gold coins in his hand. So he shows that back to Tanka and says that if you make a pair of flying slippers for me, you will be a rich man. I will make you a rich man. So Tanka asks this rich merchant, "What do you want flying slippers for?" Man says, "I am a merchant with flourishing business. I have untold wealth, but I want more. If only I could fly, I would be able to gather riches from the far corners of the earth." Tanka, shaking his head, "Flying slippers are not for you." So man says, "I will fill your shack with gold." "No, wait a minute. I will make you a mansion with gates of gold and silver fountains in the garden. I will give you bags of gold coins like this one." He jingles the bag once more. "Just make me a pair of flying slippers and your days of suffering will be over." So what did Tanka say? "Alas, the flying slippers are not for you." The merchant begs. He frowns and stamps his feet, but Tanka is unmoved. Finally, the merchant goes away. So now the first person to enter Tanka's shack was a rich merchant. He said that someone has told me that you make a pair of flying slippers. And I want you to make me a pair of flying slippers because I have a flourishing business. Flourishing means very successful. So the merchant says that though I have a very successful business, yet I want more wealth. And using those flying slippers, I can travel to various parts of the world. I can get wealth from other parts of the world also. So make me a pair of flying slippers. So Tanka says that you do not require a pair of flying slippers. It's not for you. And the merchant, he becomes very angry. He frowns. He becomes very angry. He stamps his feet. So he, the rich merchant, he puts his foot with a lot of force on the ground, but it does not have any impact on Tanka. He still remains by what he said to the merchant initially, that you do not require a pair of flying slippers. They are not meant for you. Now let us come to scene 2. Tanka is still at work. He hears the sound of the horse's hooves. The door of the shack files open and another man walks in, who is actually the king of the land. He is dressed in expensive clothes and looks proud and powerful. So now who has come to Tanka's hut? It's the king of the land. So king says, I am the king of the land and I have come to meet Tanka, the cobbler. Where is he? Tanka says, here I am, O king. What can I do for you? So king says, I have just come to know that you make flying slippers. How's that you've never made a pair for me? You must be punished. Tanka says, as you wish, your majesty. So king says, I will forgive you if you obey my orders now. In 2 days' time, you must make me a pair of flying slippers. Use the finest leather and embroider the pair with golden thread. A golden clasp with, will complete it. How does that sound? But hold on. Why wait for 2 days? Why don't you give me the slippers by this time tomorrow? Clasp means a buckle that is used to tie the shoes. So now the king has come to Tanka's shack and he says that you make me a pair of flying slippers by tomorrow, and I want you to use the finest leather, and I want you to it should be beautifully embroidered. So Tanka says, your majesty, you have everything a man could possibly wish for. Must you have flying slippers as well? King says, you ignorant fool. Of course, I must have flying slippers. Don't you know I have enemies? With flying slippers, I'll be able to take my enemies by surprises and destroy them. Then I shall be the most powerful man on earth. So Tanka says, alas, your majesty, the flying slippers are not for you. So then the king, he takes out his sword and he says, how dare you disobey me? You will pay for this. So then the king moves forward. So he moves forward as if to strike Tanka. Then something holds him back. So something just stops king from killing Tanka. He puts the sword back and leaves the shack. So now king, who had come to Tanka saying that I need a pair of flying slippers so that I can, astonish my enemies, I can surprise my enemies, and I'll be able to kill them also, and I'll become the most powerful person on this planet. So I need a pair of flying slippers for that purpose. So Tanka said, no sir, even you do not need a pair of flying slippers. Now we come to scene 3 of the play. Tanka passes a hand over his eyes, draws a deep breath and stands up. He comes to the door of his shack and looks out. Just then, a little girl goes running past his shack. Tanka, oh Amna, Amna, come here, child. Amna says, yes, grandpa, what is it? So Amna is Tanka's granddaughter. Tanka says, where are you going? Amna, to the village shop. Mother wants some salt. Tanka says, fine, but first tell me, if I make a pair of flying slippers for you, what would you do with them? So Anna, with her eyes wide open in surprise, flying slippers? You mean slippers that would take me up in the air, up and up? Tanka, exactly. Anna, clapping her hands and spinning around. Oh, I would fly up into the blue sky just like a bird. What fun would it be? Tanka says, God bless you, my child. You will have a pair of flying slippers in 2 days' time. So, did you enjoy the story? And what did we learn in the story? That you should, it's good to aim for certain things, but you should not be greedy about getting everything that is there in the world. And also, another thing, we generally get, mostly we get what we deserve or what we really need. So never ever complain to your parents, or never ever complain to God, oh God, you've not given me this, oh God, you've not given me that. You always get in your life what you really need, what you really deserve, and you should never ever be greedy about getting everything that is there in the world. So I hope you enjoyed reading this story about flying slippers. And just think in your mind, if you had a pair of flying slippers, what would you do with it? Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed this play.